This one piece of real estate advice can save you tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars on your next real estate transaction. There's one company that's putting out consistently and intentionally misleading information right now that's sending buyers out into the marketplace with the wrong expectation, causing them to overpay for houses, and that's giving sellers the wrong impression, causing them to overprice homes and have them sit on the market too long, or having sellers become too negotiable with buyers. Let me show you exactly how this is working. So you've got Newsweek right now. They shared this article this morning and it said houses sitting on market for longest period in a decade. And I immediately read that and knew it wasn't true because I was in the market a decade ago. And I knew what time on market and days on market looked like then, just like I know what they are now. And I know that they're not sitting on the market longer now than they were back then. And I even just pulled like a quick sample and did the research. And I saw this, in fact, to be true. If I look at July of 2015, the same sample size of homes, right? Just standard median sale price homes in the same geographic area, just looking at very traditional real estate. What we saw is in July of 2015, those homes had an average days on market of 110. And in 2025, July of 2025, same time period, same criteria, the average days on market was 65. So not only just reading this at a glance, someone who's in the market every day did it not sit right, and I immediately knew it was false. The very first example I put in to start to test this shows it's massively overstated. That's why it sits so wrong when you read it as a practicing broker. And even some real estate specific website and blogs that are supposed to be insider blogs run by agents who gave up on trying to sell real estate and just decided to pander propaganda and clicks. Even these companies and websites are sharing this information. And I thought, well, why is Newsweek doing this? What's the incentive to Newsweek to put out bad information like this? And Newsweek probably doesn't even know how wrong and bad it is. They're just sharing info from Redfin. And they think Redfin is an authority. And if you looked at our YouTube video a while ago, is Redfin lying about the number of buyers in the market? You'll see this is not their first time doing this. Redfin is a habitual offender at intentionally putting out misleading articles. And it's all coming from this Bloomberg journalist that they hired recently, Lily Katz, who says she's interested in climate change, race and gender equality, and housing affordability is kind of the last one thrown in there. But Lily gets it wrong every single time, but she gets it wrong on purpose because Lily crafts very alarming headlines that get picked up and reshared by all the major news outlets and organizations. And when you dig into Lily's very poorly written and falsely concluded article, you can see really, really quick that they are cherry picking markets and leaving out certain amounts of data and stating very specifically that they may have omitted data and may have to go back and make corrections. And so basically what they're saying is, hey, we just kind of took what we wanted to take and threw this all together, and we know it's probably not right. We will probably have to revise it, and we know there's some big holes, but if we did that to the data, then this is the conclusion that we would draw. And it's like, yeah, if you're trying to craft a story and you leave out certain markets, or you specifically misrepresent or underrepresent certain types of geographically certain areas of the market, then yeah, you're going to get exactly the story you want to get. And that's exactly what they did in this article. Data are subject to revision, of course, because they intentionally falsely reported it. And I even cross-reference this. We can go to, this is just a general broad zip code search, just in case my first set of data run was incorrect. I just checked it one more time, and sure enough, 49 days on market, it's just not anywhere near that 110 days we saw a while ago. So why on earth, when just 2 months ago, they had this hugely egregious, full of lies, massively misleading article, why would they do it again? Well, the reason they do it again is because their stock price is tanking. This is a company in the dumps that had a failed business model. They took all the worst real estate agents in the industry who were quitting because they couldn't survive, and they offered them a salary. And they said, hey guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you 50 grand a year, and you're going to go out and work as a real estate agent, and we're going to charge consumers 3%. We're going to charge them a full commission. They're going to pay a full commission, but they're going to get an agent that's like a $30 an hour, $25 an hour type of agent instead of a $200 or $250 an hour agent. And all that extra money that the buyer paid or the seller paid that we're not giving to you as the agent, even though it was charged and supposed to go to you as the agent. We're going to take all the extra, we're going to give it to shareholders. Well, that didn't work out very well because the buyer's agents didn't know the market and couldn't get offers written competitively. Their buyers were overpaying. They were losing out on homes. The sellers, their homes were overpriced and sat on the market too long, and they had too many deals fall through. And eventually the consumer just anecdotally saw these agents suck and they started firing them. So now you have this business model that's failed. And in a last minute scramble, Redfin's trying to save their skin and trying to jump into this big conglomerate and sell to Rocket while they're still worth anything. And it's being massively opposed by senators who are saying, hey, wait a second, this is a bad idea. You're going to trick home shoppers into getting funneled into just one real estate mortgage company. And then they're just going to get like one set of rates from this one company. And then, by the way, you're going to own this servicer, Mr. Cooper, too, so that when they want to refinance, they just get bounced back to the same company that originated them to refinance, so they never get a competitive interest rate and never go out to the free market. Seems a little bit shady, and understandably so. But Redfin does this on purpose. What Redfin does is they've got this website that they've created that's pretty sticky. And when you view a particular home and you click request showing, they immediately make it really easy to work with one of their crappy real estate agents and get a showing scheduled. And you can do it in person. And as soon as you enter your info there, boom, you're connected with an agent who's charging the seller of the home or you a full commission, but yet they're actually working for a fraction of that commission. All the extra money is going back to Redfin. And we saw this, just today. This is actually today this happened. You have an appointment scheduled for 3 p.m. to 3:30 on one of my listings. And this appointment that got scheduled on one of my listings, it was canceled very shortly afterwards. And another showing for the exact same time came in. And I mean, this is real time. This just happened on one of our current listings. And what happened is a consumer was just browsing for homes on Redfin. And all of a sudden, this home they wanted to see, this home they like, they're booked with an agent scheduling a showing and being like, we'll meet you at the house. And the consumer, fortunately for them, caught it this time and said, wait a second, I don't want to see this house with you. I don't know who you are. You've never sold any homes in this area. I don't want to work with you. I've got an agent. So they canceled the showing and rebooked it with their own realtor, fortunately for this particular buyer. But that's the whole point. What I'm getting at, that's the whole point of why Lily and Redfin are putting out articles like this that are intentionally misleading, is because they're trying to get that website reshared and picked up by different news outlets who are too lazy to proofread and fact check the articles. And they're trying to get viral sharing so that consumers just wind up and land on Redfin's site or falsely assume that Redfin is an authority on what's happening in the market. And if they're able to trick consumers to get onto their website, they're probably going to be able to trick consumers into working with one of their bad agents. And if they can trick them to working with one of their bad agents, they can probably trick them into working with one of their overpriced mortgage joint ventures. And if they can trick them into doing those two things, they can probably trick them into refinancing at too high of a rate and paying too high of closing costs for their loan down the road. So how do you avoid making this mistake and losing tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars if you're working in real estate right now? If you're thinking about buying or selling a house, find a local trusted agent from a local company who sells homes and has listings in that neighborhood, who's working with a local mortgage broker, and get your real estate news and facts from that person who's actually buying and selling houses in that market, instead of clickbait headlines shared on national news outlets written by journalists who are, quite frankly and clearly, more concerned with gender equality and race than they are with actually knowing the real estate market that they're talking to you about. I'm Don Harkins. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.